So I must have grabbed the wrong brownies out of the fridge when I made this Midjourney video because it's a complete disaster. Midjourney's Discord has a dark secret. It's basically a video where I found a little bit of coincidences and I extrapolated it into some sort of crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. And to be fair, this video did get a lot of support, but it did get a lot of very justified hate, which makes sense. For example, Kim here is disappointed that it's clickbait and I keep the video up and all this stuff, so I'm making this video and make it so we all know what's actually going on. So before we start, I just want to say that this type of video, it being misleading, is something I don't want to do on YouTube. I was completely misinformed and I will try to make sure that this doesn't happen again. I'm a human, I make mistakes, but a good person learns from their mistakes, and that's what I hope to do. Okay, so basically the thing that set this video off was that a Midjourney moderator, just a volunteer moderator, contacted me very friendly and just said, hey, this is what I know about Midjourney, because, you know, they're moderator of the Midjourney server, they know a lot. So the first thing is that Midjourney server it's very unique because you actually are broken up into different groups when you join the server. So for example, if I look at this Burke person, they're in group 4, which means that they can only see a very limited amount of the newcomer rooms on the server. I think there's 200 newcomer rooms on the server, but since this has been advertised on a lot of media, we're talking the Daily Dose of Internet, the John Oliver, that guy. I don't watch late night television, but those people have been advertising this bot, and you're going to have a lot of boomers that come in, which means that the Discord server needs to be relatively friendly for new users, and that's why there's less channels visible. The caveat of all this is that if I try to search for any random user to see if they sent a message, I might not see any results because the channel's hidden, which directly ruins what I was trying to convey in that conspiracy theory video. But anyways, let's get on to more business-related stuff. So first off, I was informed that the Midjourney CEO, David, doesn't want to deal with investors, and consequently, the trial moderator did try to tell me that there's really no benefit of Midjourney artificially increasing their member count, and this is where my opinion comes in. I basically think that Midjourney does benefit from having a lot of members because a lot more people learn about it. It's like, wow, that's the biggest Discord server. And consequently, what happens is more people use Midjourney, they use the 25 free credits, and finally they will go and purchase a subscription. So I think there is an intrinsic benefit of having a lot of members on your Discord server, but it's not to kind of fool investors and all that crap. So in my defensive little shell, I decided to ask this moderator some hard-hitting questions that would really reveal the truth of what Midjourney's doing. And let me tell you these questions. Does the Midjourney server use any form of alt or bot detection? Something as simple as a verification system with a CAPTCHA for members to stay in the server seems like a necessity for, you know, a 3.45 million user server. And basically, the volunteer moderator said that they can't really talk about detection methods, which makes sense. You don't want to tell people how you figure out if they're a bot or not, because that's just like saying, if you want to break into my house, well, I always leave the back window open, so hop in through there. But they did say that they don't have a verification method like a traditional one you would see on Discord, and they really don't want anything that would make it hard for people to join, which makes sense because if you want to make a Discord server that's open for everyone, you want to make it as simple as possible so even grandma can go on Midjourney and generate beautiful art. Which little side story, but I did see like some really weird old boomer generation of like a specific woman sitting at the bar with this type of blouse, and it was very like old, ancient. It might have been someone writing a book, maybe just an old fella trying to relive a memory. Getting back on topic though, Midjourney does have their own system that they didn't inform me about, but they have their own system in detecting bots and abuse. So they are working on it because at the end of the day, abuse of Midjourney does cost Midjourney money because, you know, they're using the servers for free and abusing it. So the second question I asked is, what is the point of having Beemo on the server if it's going to have its ban functionality disabled? It just seems weird for a server that is basically Discord's golden goose, you know, the prime example of a good server. It has an additional bot that just isn't doing anything. Now, to get you kind of caught up to speed, the Beemo bot, which is an anti-raid bot, was basically, you know, it was enabled and it was banning people that were raiding the server. And then at some point it got disabled and there was massive raids that happened. Well, there's two things. Before I get to their response, I do want to say that first off, if you just look at the chat logs, it was a concern of the Midjourney team. They didn't want any false positives, and the developer of the bot said, yeah, it is a risk. And Midjourney's whole motive is to try and make it open for everyone, so that's the reason why they turned it off. But the volunteer moderator thinks that it's just used to check for suspicious users, and they did say that they think it was used early on, which it was used early on if you look at the Beemo logs. Continuing on with their answer, they said that we, the Midjourney team, don't have the ban system because of how the volunteer moderator said that the server is very different from others and false positives are a big worry. And finalizing the answer, we want real normal people removed and banned as little as possible. They want real people to stay on the Discord server. They don't want to worry about false positives. So a question that popped up is, why did Midjourney pick Discord rather than hosting its own website? It just seems weird to have everything hosted on Discord, and it seems like a lot more work to deal with Discord. We already know Discord's kind of a pain in the rear end to deal with. But the reason why is actually more of a philosophical reason, and The Verge did an article on it, and they interviewed, David like a normal journalist. But basically what David said is, we started off testing the raw technology in September last year, and we're immediately finding really different things. We found very quickly that most people don't know what they want. You say, here's a machine, you can imagine anything with it. What do you want? And they go, dog. And you go, really? And they go, pink dog. So you give them a picture of a dog, and they go, okay, and then go do something else. Whereas if you put them in a group, a Discord server, they'll go dog, and someone else will go space dog, and someone else will go Aztec space dog. Basically, in a community setting, people like to build on each other's ideas, whereas if you presented this to an individual just normally outside of a community, people will kind of get stuck and get bored of it. You know how if you go on Midjourney, the reason why most people use Midjourney is because they go to newcomer rooms and they see what other people are doing. You're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, that looks really sick. What did they do? From there, you can kind of use it to figure out what you want to do. Instead of just searching up dog, you're going to search up dark fantasy, alien versus humans, fight, war, dramatic, hyper-realistic, ultra-detailed, aka HD, horror, scary. And my next question was, is Midjourney planning on doing anything about inactive accounts? I would assume that a 7-day prune, which is basically when you go into Discord and you kick any members that haven't been visible for 7 days. And I said that, doing a prune like that would wipe out a large chunk of members and improve server performance. And the answer I got was basically the Midjourney volunteer moderator said that they actually don't know if inactive accounts are purged anymore. And they actually used to have to purge a huge amount of accounts when they had that 1 million limit. And there's no worry about server performance based on user count because of background infrastructure work Discord helps Midjourney with, and the group role system that I talked about where you can't see all the rooms. Now, I'm going to give my personal take on this. The only reason why you purge members on Discord is either you got raided and those accounts are not online anymore, or you're hitting a member count. You're hitting the cap where Discord's like, you can't have any other people join. And with Midjourney, they had that 1 million cap and they had to purge people. That makes sense. But once Discord kind of raised their cap to whatever value it is, I think they just keep increasing it. But once they keep increasing the member count, there's really no point to purging people anymore, right? At the end of the day, it's a cool statistic. Like, wow, 3.45 million people have tried to use the bot that I developed. It's just a cool statistic to have. I mean, who wouldn't want to see something like that? What's the point of kicking people when you can basically say, hey, look, this is the number of people that tried to use my bot? And my final question was basically just asking if it's possible if I could share the information in these DMs in the video that I'm making right now. Ooh, Inception. But basically, my whole point is I wanted to set the record straight and I wanted to share their information. And the moderator did say that, yeah, feel free to share anything. Just make it clear that they are not an official Midjourney representative, but they're a volunteer moderator. So they've been around Midjourney long enough to, kind of get the general understanding on how they operate. So it's the best insight we can get with this short-term notice. So I wanted to address a lot of conspiracy theories that I helped develop, unfortunately, but also what I've seen. And the first thing is that a lot of people think this is just really suspicious growth, right? And to be honest, all of our preconceived notions of figuring out if a server's been botted, like if people bought members and put it on the server, it's impossible to tell with the scale of Midjourney. It's so big and it's such an irregularity that it kind of breaks all of our normal principles. And to better understand that, we just need a little bit of food for thought. AI art is popular everywhere. It's very popular. And Discord is also very popular. This growth of Midjourney is bound to happen. I mean, it was like a perfect storm. If I was a YouTuber and I had that sort of kind of vision where I could see that this was something I could benefit from, oh baby, I'd be all over this. It's like the perfect match for Midjourney. And the thing is that Midjourney, like, the quality of art you get from it, in my experience, is probably the best. I mean, I've tried to use stable diffusion, and it was just really bad. And also, I was afraid my graphics card was going to blow up. But generally speaking, Midjourney has a lot of detail, and that's what people like. They love a massive amount of detail if you want to give it detail. Now, to better satiate your kind of curiosity on whether or not Midjourney is artificially inflated, here's a photo of how many servers the bot is in. It's 560,000 servers. That's a lot of servers that the Midjourney bot is added in. And that's, including all the restrictions that Midjourney has. Like, you can't add the bot when your server has like more than 30,000 people, I think. That's a lot of servers, which also correlates why there's so many members on the Midjourney server. And another thing to consider is that people could be auto-generating accounts, Discord accounts, to try and bypass the 25 credit limit that Midjourney has. But from what I saw, it seems like they're clamping down on that. And instead of getting banned from Midjourney and never being able to use it again, I would honestly, if you just want to have free AI art, you can probably find other websites. If you want to self-host it, you can actually self-host Stable Diffusion on your Windows computer. It is difficult to do. I will not understate that, setting up Linux on your Windows computer is hard, and it's going to be hard for a lot of you, but it allows you to do AI generation for free if you want to do that. Now, there's one final thing that I actually do want to talk about, and it's kind of Discord's, you might see it as special treatment to Midjourney, but Midjourney is extremely popular, and basically there's 3.4 million members on it. That's a lot of members, whereas if you go on any other public server, Genshin Impact is stuck at almost 1 million because they are capped out. You cannot join the server because of the capacity, and people might see that as unfair, but in reality, you have to think about it in sort of a business sense. Discord, if Midjourney gets a whole bunch of advertisement all over the internet and it's based on Discord, the last thing that Discord, the company, wants is to turn people away, turn new members away because they can't join a server that they looked at on, late night TV or on some YouTube channel. So that's why Discord is allowing Midjourney to have a whole bunch of members. And I did talk to the moderator about that. I just said, I bet a lot of people are disappointed about it. But what they said is that Discord is probably using Midjourney as a bit of a guinea pig, as a little test subject. And hopefully in the future, once things do get sorted out, because I have been informed that there are a lot of bugs with having a server this big. But hopefully once Discord figures that out, then, Genshin Impact will have more people talking about the best loot box to unbox to waste their parents' money on their credit card. So anyways, I hope this was helpful in kind of showing you that Midjourney, while there is a lot of conspiracy theories that I unfortunately helped accelerate, it's not trying to be malicious. It's just a passion project that turned into a very, very, stable and growing business. And if you don't like business, well, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's capitalism. Anyways, I'm not going to be that depressing. I love you, and I'll make sure to eat the right brownies in the fridge this time. If I eat the wrong ones, we might have another crazy video. On Friday, there's going to be a crazy video, but in a good way. I love you, sweetheart. Mwah!